Hey, everybody, it's KD. And with me, as always, is my co host. And I don't want to say better half, equal half, something half. I don't know. But anyway,
Accomplice.
yes. Yeah.
Accomplice
Okay.
is a good word.
I like that. My accomplice, Kelly. And today we have a very special guest because we have a special topic that is actually, I would say, kind of close to her heart a little bit. Um, but anyway, we have Lee Winter with us today, or her likeness, or a cartoon picture of her for those who are watching they're going to watch the video. But we get to hear that accent. So, Lee, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Lee Winter. How do you know that cartoon avatar isn't what I look like in real life? How do you know that's just not?
I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea.
Yeah. This could be my real identity.
It could. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I could be wearing a disguise right now too. Yeah.
Lee's on the lam. That's why it's an assumed identity.
Damn, you got me.
Hey, we try. We try. Anybody that's watching this, if you recognize her, don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. So, welcome to our show. It's a messy job, but somebody has to do it. Why not us? And we love to shoot the shit anyway. So here we are. So Kelly, what have you been up to?
Just trying to get through Pride Month, I guess. I'm going to tell you. First, we got to start off, KD. I want to see your shirt. Is it cool?
Yes. Well, it is. Okay, I have another Miles Morales.
Oh, nice.
Miles Morales t-shirt on. That's Spider-Man. If for people who don't know, who are not as geeky as
Into
me.
the Spider-Verse.
Yeah. So, and I'm excited about the movie that they're making, the second movie that they're making.
Are they making a second? Okay, so I'm gonna say. So I don't know, Lee, if you've seen the movie, but in my opinion, my top two favorite superhero movies that I've seen, and I have not seen all of them, but the top two favorites that I've seen, it's almost a tie between the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse animated movie and Black Panther. Like for me, those are like my top two superhero movies. Now I've seen quite a few. I haven't seen very many DC, but
you're not missing anything.
Into the Spider-Verse was so comic book like. I adored that. But yeah, I enjoyed that. I have another cat shirt on.
I see that. Pew pew.
Pew pew, motherfuckers. Yeah. So real quick, concerning Pride, I'm so excited because I don't buy comics anymore. However, I ordered the DC Pride, the Jim Lee cover, and I love Jim Lee, and the alternate cover, the variant. So, and I have not read them yet because I am too busy the next couple days. I foolishly put off my newsletter again. So, and that's got to be ready to go out at 8 a.m. on the 1st. So yeah, and then I have my, my Pride Lego set, which I've never bought. I have never bought a Lego set before, nor put one together. So, and that was my Pride purchases. But
I didn't do a damn thing for Pride. So yeah.
I didn't do anything else for it, but I'm just trying to write. I started getting in the groove again. I've gone to the coffee shop finally a couple times. I've done some more writing at home. I'm up to like, I don't know, 30 something thousand words. That book that I was going to have done at the beginning of June.
That one. Yeah. I just started writing again. I've probably in the last couple of days, maybe written about 1,500 words. So I'm proud of myself for that because it's been a long dry spell.
That's what she said.
Yeah, that's what she said. So I'm hoping things will keep trucking along. I'm finding that I have to make notes now, though, because I think because I was so blocked for so long that I think that may be best for right now to, write little notes here and there to keep me honest and keep me on track and make me see the bigger picture. So Lee, I know you you have a book in editing right now, right?
Yes, I have The Awkward Truth, which is the sidequel. It's sort of like a sequel to The Real Truth, but it's set at the same time. from a different character's point of view, which is Felicity. So I'm waiting for that to get edited. But I've also just had out my anthology of short stories all about my ice queens called Sliced Ice.
I saw
But
that.
I'm actually more interested and excited at the moment about editing someone else's book, which is Rosalind Sinclair, aka Telanu, who's been working on Truth and Measure fan fiction, which is considered by many people the greatest fanfic ever written.
Yes.
And I'm not going to argue. So I edited her first, basically the fan fiction Truth and Measure is 300,000 words long. So it had to be
huge story.
It had to be cut a bit and 2 books. So the first half, that went off earlier in the year, and I'm working on book 2 right now. And book 2 is fantastic, and it's got new scenes, and I just love it. So I'm having the time of my life with someone else's book, not my own, which is pretty good.
Let me take a moment to just to release. I mean, because I remember, I don't even remember. I think it was Tara Scott who introduced me to that story. I want to say, I think it was her.
Right.
Which one was that?
Truth and Measure.
Yeah, I have.
Devil Wears Prada. Yeah, you probably would. It wouldn't be your thing.
I don't follow Devil Wears Prada.
I know it wouldn't be your thing.
Like,
definitely.
I'm not an age gap person, and Tara is a huge age gap person.
She is. So I want to say it was her who introduced me to it, and I don't know. I think I read it in like a couple of days. It was just like I was just feeding myself with it in like these huge gulps, and I just couldn't put it down. Yeah, and it was just like, oh my God, it's just like, oh my God. And I just couldn't put it down. So it is considered, amongst a lot of people, one of the best fanfics written.
I have heard a lot about it despite never reading it. But you know what Tara and I agree on, if not age gap?
What?
We both like celebrity romance.
Yeah.
And that circles us to one of Lee's books that I absolutely adored, which was Breaking Character.
I enjoyed that book too.
Oh, man.
In fact, I want to say, I think I read that one before I read the Red Files. I think. But I really enjoyed that. In fact, I want to say that one and you know what I'm about to say, Lee, right?
Take a minute.
I'm taking some time. You know what I'm about to say. It's going to be a book
I haven't read. It's going to be a book I've only read 2 of Lee's books.
Which ones did you read?
And I'm honest. I read Breaking Character. Obviously, it's one of my top. I don't read a lot of contemporary fiction. It's just not. It's not my thing unless it meets one of those tropes, which is the celebrity romance. However, I did read the Red Files, and I didn't think I was going to like it, and I loved the book. It was a great book, but I have not read the sequel, and I haven't read the. Is it the Requiem for a Mortal?
Yes.
Everybody loves that book.
To be honest, I didn't think I was gonna like it, but she grew on me. I felt like we really understood each other. Were
you writing to Katie on that, Lee? You must have been.
No, it was like I was inspired in part by Wentworth. I don't know how many of you guys watch that show.
I watched the
prison show. I haven't watched it, but my wife used to watch it.
I really like the darkness of Joan the Freak Ferguson.
Yes.
And she's all through the Requiem for Immortals. That vibe of I'm better than you, and she's kind of a monster. And unlike Joan and Wentworth, my monster gets her redemption and gets to actually understand the power of love and all that jazz. But it's not sappy at all.
And I think that's why I like this so much because, I'm with Kelly. I'm not huge. I'll read contemporary romance with an edge to it. If it gets too sweet and I'm just... I'll get to the point where, okay, maybe I'll put this down and come back to it, So yeah, I'm definitely with her on that. But yeah, okay, definitely. It's good to have you here. I could gush about that book all day. That's a whole nother podcast, though. We could just sit and talk about that book, definitely. So
another book that I have it's been on my TBR pile and I haven't read it, and it is up my alley because even though I haven't read it and a couple other books that came out around the same time inspired one of my books, and that is Shattered, which is the superhero book.
Oh, yes.
And I haven't read that one either. I haven't read any of those superhero books that came out. I ended up just writing my own, and then I stopped reading books for like a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
2 years.
Well, you're missing
So,
out.
I need to
You
get-
it needs to be
I
in your,
know.
it needs to be
I
and
bought
it's a
it.
quick
I
read
bought it.
too. Yeah, it's a quick read. It's
Okay.
not,
You're selling me.
Yeah, it's
And
well,
Katie was my sensitivity reader on Shattered too, so she knows what
yeah.
she's talking about.
Yeah,
Nice,
it's a
because it
good
has
read.
the main character is a person of color, right? Is
Mhm.
POC?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
All right.
it's a very deep
All right.
story.
I'm going to move it up. I'm going to move it up my list then for when I start reading again.
Please do. I want to bring up two before we move on. Jax Meyer, who is the author of the Marine trilogy. Everybody, I want to put her name out there because she is trying to crowdfund a film based on a screenplay she is writing. So I'm all for that. I mean, you know, I was talking to these ladies earlier, and I was saying, you know, we have lesfic galore. You know, very good lesfic. You know, new lesfic that's coming out that's going to be great. But unfortunately, in regards to cinema, a lot of it is crap. A lot of it. You know, need I say what was the name of that movie? In Her Mouth. That came out
at Christmas time?
No, in her mouth, below her mouth, something mouth.
I don't know. I know
you don't know that one.
Typically, the only like well-made or well-written ones seem to all be those depressing period pieces, and
I'm okay with that.
Immensely hate period pieces.
I love those kind of movies. I don't like how they fuck up the ending and you know and everything, but I like the mood of it, you know. So, but yeah, so it would be nice for us to have a well-produced, well-acted movie.
I feel like we get one or the other, but we don't always get both at the same time. Like the trifecta of well-written, well-produced, and well acted, and we can't seem to get all three at once to have a hit. Like the Christmas one, we picked up the free Hulu just to watch the Christmas movie, and because it looked hilarious, but honestly, like all the funny scenes were written with the one character,
the guy,
what's his name,
from
Daniel Levy or
Schitt's Creek?
Daniel, yeah, and I haven't seen that, but Carrie has. And I thought it was going to be funny, but oh man, it was such a downer. Like a lot of it was just made me feel like sad inside. And I was hoping for just a lighthearted Christmas rom-com, and I ended up absolutely hating the closeted girlfriend because she was such a I'm not going to say
bitch.
Yeah, just horrible. She was just a bad person. Like she did this not once but multiple times, and like there's a certain point where that just makes you a bad person when you repeat hurtful behavior. So
and the only movies that I can think of that are just amongst my favorites, Imagine Me and You.
Number one. That's my number one favorite.
And Carol.
I haven't seen that, but you know what I like,
Kelly.
I love But I'm a Cheerleader, and it was so campy and ridiculous. I love that movie. But it was
good. Yeah, it was good.
So, have you guys seen Saving Face?
No.
That's a good movie. That's an excellent movie.
That's so sweet. And my favorite one is designed for the teen market, which is Debs. I
love that one too.
God. So the Debs, the dark-haired Jordana Brewster. That was when I realized after I saw that, I was like, I like Jordana Brewster now. Like, I don't know, it was that dark hair. She just had that look. And
it was the eyebrows.
Same now, but
the eyebrows.
Maybe it was the eyebrows and the lips. But I love that movie too. And I'm not, give me funny. I don't want period piece. Give me something that's either like funny or something a little more close to home and not something set like 100 years ago. I wanted something more relatable. And maybe the really sad Christmas movie was relatable, but
you know what? I want a lesbian or a bisexual or anything from our community. Bridgerton. Oh,
I don't even know.
Anybody? Lee, have you seen Bridgerton?
No.
Oh my God!
I've heard of it. I don't know what it is. I don't watch that much TV.
Okay. Well, pandemic. Of course, I've been watching a lot, but it's like it's a whole period piece. It's like a Jane Austen type romance thing with lots of heat, a lot more heat to it and everything, a lot more attitude. I would love to see just a lesbian version of that, you know, just back in those, on those, oh my God, the humor that could be in it, you know, so I would love to watch something like that. Somebody.
I would just like to up the queer content of some of our current shows. That would
Yes,
be great.
that would be nice.
I mean,
but
so circling back to Jax,
yes,
back to Jax, circling back to Jax, Jax has been crowdfunding for this movie. They're writing the screenplay for it, and Jax put a call out asking for authors. Like, actually, Lee, did Jax send you a message asking if you wanted to donate? Like, I think Requiem, right?
Yeah, and I've agreed. So that's in the mix for prizes.
And that's what Jax did with me as well, because, and I'm like, why are you, and in my head, like, I read the email and the message, and in my head I'm like, why in the world is Jax asking for my 2 shittiest books? I'm not even gonna lie, like, hands down, they are the worst books. And so then I realized, like, oh, Grace, no, it's the music manuscript one. Okay. Well, I'm sorry to whoever wins these, you know, like, they're just, and the people that actually buy them and read them, they like them. But I'm just like, no,
in your opinion,
they're not good. Well, no, they're legitimately not good. Like, the one was the very first book I ever wrote, and it's terrible.
Well, somebody obviously does not agree with you.
That's because it's erotica, and they're really just reading it for one thing. It's not erotica, but it's very erotic. And I have a feeling they're just reading it for the sexy time scenes, kind of cover the rest, I guess. I don't know.
There's nothing wrong with that either.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
It's not my gig anymore.
Yeah, but so what I'm gonna do, when I post everything, guys, I'm gonna put a link where if you want to donate in any way, you can go through that link and go to the website, and it'll give you all the information on what they're doing. So please donate if you can, even a couple of dollars. I mean, it will help. I think they've raised like 30%.
That's great.
I was looking at it today. That's great. Yeah. So if you can help out, please do. Please do. So let's move on and get to the meat of the discussion here. If anybody's watched the first 2 episodes of Shooting the Shit, we talked a lot about fanfic. It's a big thing for both me and Kelly, because we write fanfic, or we wrote fanfic, and so
I still write it.
Yeah, well, I can't make myself do it anymore, or I haven't just found a fandom that makes me want to dive back into it, I guess, you know. So, Lee, do you still write fanfic?
I've got one outstanding fic that has got 15 chapters left to write, and I just can't quite face it. It's just, so it's like, you know, when you've got that outstanding fic, you kind of feel a bit dirty. Or guilty. So that's been sitting there for, the last time I updated it was last year. So maybe I'll get back to it one day. Maybe.
I don't write it a lot. It's one of my, you know, if I'm kind of stuck, and sometimes I'll get inspired. And I only write, I'll write Supergirl fan fiction, and it's only for this one particular theme, I guess, right? So, but I don't write it a lot, because usually if I can't set out to write it, because then I feel guilty that I'm not like working on one of my books that I know that are, you know, so it's just, but I wanted to bring something up and highlight it. And maybe Lee and Katie, maybe you guys will have some input on it real quick, since we're on the fanfic topic. All right. So like a month or 2 months ago, I wrote my first like flash fic short story with my writing group, and it was supposed to be, we had a story prompt, and it was supposed to be 1,000 words, and I was just super excited that I got it under 1,300, because, you know, I'm a world builder, right? Big long books. And so I did the story, and I posted on AO3, because I'll post any of my short stories on there just for people, right? So here is how much difference the right fandom, or a fandom at all, versus original fiction makes on AO3. I took that short story today, and I looked at it. I'm like, you know what? This would be a cute story if it had my other 2 characters that were in my fan fiction. So I actually took that story, I converted it, expanded it just a little bit, and made it into a supercore story. with Supergirl, Lena Luthor, and then Alex. And I made it. It's like an alt. It's not canon at all. Kara Danvers is a witch. Just shows her at the beginning, like looks like she's making a potion or something, right? And then Alex, her sister, is a cat, and they're like, "Do you forget why I'm here? Are you sure this is a good idea?" And then it turns out that Lena Luthor, who's her best friend, she's a ghost. The potion she's creating is chicken soup, but it's also poison. So she kills herself with the soup. It doesn't show it, but it shows her eating the soup. And then Alex is eating like some sort of transmogrification cat food, right? And then it's just very short, thick. And then the last scene, a package delivery person who is Alex's current girlfriend on the show, Kelly Olsen, knocks on the door. Alex answers, and there's some like instant chemistry. Meanwhile, the two ghosts are watching from the window. So
you wrote all that in 1,000 words.
No, it's like 1,300 words. But
excuse me.
But yeah, essentially, it's a little over now because I altered it and changed it. However, I posted that fic originally March 11th, the short story, right?
The original fic?
The original short story, it had 1,301 words, 18 hits, 1 kudos.
Wow.
On March 11th, 18 hits, 1 kudos, right? I redid it. I posted it today as a supercore fic a couple hours ago, and it's got 24 kudos, 245 hits, and 1 bookmark. Just
in a couple of hours,
making it into a fan fiction story.
That goes right into our subject matter, big time.
It really does. Yeah,
it really and truly does. So yeah, what does it take? I mean, to write good fanfic, or what does it take to have a good ship?
Let's back up to the origins of fanfic. So this is something that Lee, Katie, and I all know. The origins of fanfic. Fan fiction has been around for a long time. But it first came into use in the 20th century as copyright laws began to differentiate between the stories using established characters that were authorized by the copyright holder and those that were not. And we discussed this near the beginning of the episodes about authors who allow you to write fan fiction of their stories and authors who don't. And then the reasons why some of them might not, such as worrying that maybe a story their next book mirrors something that somebody wrote with fan fiction, because like Simpsons, after 30 years, or something, people are bound to copy on that, or predict. And then you have fan fiction is defined by being related to its subject's canonical fictional universe, either staying within those boundaries by not being of the canon itself, or else branching outside of it to an alternative universe. And then fan fiction kind of morphed into uberfic, and
thanks to Xena.
Yep, there you go. You got it. That one started with Xena Warrior Princess, where you take the original characters from that fandom and you put them in a different setting, future, past,
modern. Mostly modern type stuff. Yeah.
And it started with like the Xena scrolls, where Xena, where Gabrielle is like an adventurer, paleontologist,
or something like that. Kind of like an Indiana Jones type
thing. Right. And so they were just different people in a different place, but they're still the same characters at heart, still soulmates, still destined to be together, that kind of thing. So, and that catches us up to fanfic and uberfic 101. And the question is, we have a lot of authors like the three of us and so many more who started writing it's a cat.
That's a cat.
Who started writing in the fan fiction universe, I guess. And then eventually either changed their books and converted them to published fiction, or the fan fiction gave them that boost of writing to go on and write actual original fiction and published fiction.
Yeah, and I started out with Xena fan fiction, and it was fan fiction, and then I moved toward Uber. And then I kind of graduated toward other fandoms, like I did some stories with Rizzoli and Isles, and I did a couple of Buffy stories, I think. And I even did Grey's Anatomy with some like some odd characters like Addison and Meredith, stuff like that. So yeah, and it gave me, I think, the boost I needed I kind of watched myself, go from just writing PWPs, to,
explain what that is. Explain. There are a couple different
plot
versions.
With plot, porn without plot. So
Lee, can you think of any other versions of that?
No, you guys covered them.
Yeah, yeah. So, I kind of went from that, writing as, what was the name of that series that I wrote? Afternoon Delight is Minerva, I think it was.
I read all of those back in the day. I followed Minerva quite a bit. I enjoyed your stories. I followed Mavis Applewater a lot. She did a ton of PWP.
Mavis. Oh, I love Mavis. But yeah, it's kind of graduated from there into me writing bigger stories. And that list, that article you found where it had like a list of...
I have it. Would you like me to share?
Yes, please.
So you can
it's not very updated. It's kind of old.
Well, this site hasn't been updated in a while, but it does have quite a few people. I actually started putting together my own list. I probably could have brought that up because I think I have all these and then some. But you have authors here that people might recognize, like Blaine Cooper. I'm trying
L.T. Smith. Gabrielle
Smith, I have hers. Gabrielle Goldsby, K.E. Lane.
Yeah.
Let's see, J.M. Dragon. There's quite a few on here. There's
Jill McKnight,
Karen D. Badger, Tay Holden. Yep, Jill McKnight.
L.L. Rand.
Nan Dunn. Nan Dunn is actually the second editor on my next book that comes out. She's got it in her little hands right now. Yeah. So yeah, you there's a lot of Benny Lawrence. I'm trying to think of what Benny Lawrence. Linda.
I'm not familiar with that. I'm familiar with Linda Chris.
Did Benny Lawrence write the pirate books or?
I don't know. I'm not familiar.
The Apocalypse. Lee, do you happen to know off the top of your head?
No, I'm not familiar with. No.
Huh. I have the list somewhere of we made that post on
Shell Game. It was the pirate books. Benny Lawrence wrote. I'm pretty sure that's the same Benny Lawrence.
I don't know.
I only know a lot of these books and names from when I served that brief stint as a TLR reviewer. So, everybody raved about that one.
S.W. Anderson wrote fanfic. She did Docubus, like Lost Girl. Lucy Dreamer wrote fanfic.
Oh yeah.
Carolyn Elizabeth. I'm just going down a list that I have here. That Lexa Luthor.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Let's see. I got some more here. Lucy Bexley.
So do you remember I asked on Twitter, I think. So yeah, I've expanded this list somewhat. And I asked on Twitter for more people that wrote Jay. Jay is another big one. Radcliffe was another one.
Tegan Shepard.
John Cannon, Ray Magnan, Melina McKay.
Of course, Ray Magnan. I mean, come on now.
Right. I am not even remotely as prolific as either Ray or John. John has like 300 fics too.
Jesus.
Yeah.
One of the most prolific fanfic writers is now an author, which is Lola Keeley, who everyone might remember from as Victorium or Dame Lola. She's been across so many fandoms. It's ridiculous. And it's good to see.
She writes so well. Oh my gosh, so well. Yes. Yes.
I think
Oh, that's a
Lola
huge
is on
list.
this list somewhere, but I don't remember where.
Probably. In fact, she's one of my favorite writers in a Supergirl fandom. I mean, because it's just to me, her work is just like a cut above,
really
what a
is.
lot of people wrote. It's more adult, and I don't mean that in a sexual way.
I'd be willing to bet she writes Super Cat, doesn't she?
She does. She writes Super Cat.
Okay, that's why I haven't read it, because it's the age gap thing, and it's not my.
She does it so well, so well.
It's brilliant. Her Super Cat fictions are brilliant. Her Once Upon a Time ones are good too.
Wait a minute, what? She wrote Once Upon a Time?
Yeah, she's under Victorian for Once Upon a Time. I think she might be Dame Lola for Super Cat.
I'm gonna have to check that out. I didn't know she wrote Once Upon. I don't remember reading it.
Yeah. Swan Queen, baby.
Oh God, yes, that's another one that just breaks my heart.
EY. Yeah. Keely EY.
I thought it was EY, and I wasn't sure. What is what are the handles?
EY.
Oh God,
did it again. Eve.
There we go.
Okay. She did Supergirl.
What were the handles? No, the handles.
Victorian and Dame Lola.
Dame Lola. I like that.
I knew the Victorian one. That's why I thought it was already on the list, because somebody told me.
OUAT. There you go.
And what was the other one? Supergirl.
Devil Wears Prada. I'm pretty sure she's Devil Wears Prada too.
That's right.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Oh, look, I'm gonna have to really explore that when I get a chance. I didn't know she wrote all that.
What was the last one? The last fandom?
That was it, right?
Devil Wears Prada was the last one.
Yeah, I'm just looking her up. She also does The West Wing. 25 fics for The West Wing.
Wow.
And The Good Wife.
Wow.
Ooh, The Good Wife. Oh, Coleman.
But she's done 104 fics for Supergirl.
Whoa.
Wow. And they're all so good.
I've probably read a couple, because I've read a few Super Cats, but it's just not my normal thing.
Hers, like I said, hers are a cut above. I think I've read a lot of Super Cat, and some are just sexual, and then some are just like, wow, it's just it's like watching a show times 10, so they're so good.
I don't have Lee on here. Lee, you do fanfic. What's your handle?
Oh God. Yeah, look, I'm gonna tell you. But I'm still embarrassed by some of my early fics, but it's Red Charcoal.
I don't know why.
Red Charcoal?
But, we all start somewhere, people. And look, one of my fics, and this, I'm still.
I think I spelled that.
OAL. Please.
No E.
Why am I struggling?
I'm still dying, because my most popular fic by far starts, and I'm not kidding you, starts with a rape in the very first opening page with a rape. And I cringe, but 1.5 million hits have.
Wait a minute, which one is that?
1.5 million hits? Is this on AR3?
What's that?
What
is it on
AR3? Is this on?
AO3, yeah, Red Charcoal. Look, so the one with the 1.5 million hits is called The Staircase, but oh my God.
I don't think I've read that one.
Oh, that's the fiction that Astrid Adilva read and offered me a book contract.
Really?
Not for that story. I would never ever turn that into a I'm
intrigued now. And it's called The Staircase. Let's see. Of course, humor.
Yeah. It's also on badfiction.net. That's where it's got all the hits.
Go back to the.
Here are the Devil Wears Prada, Once Upon a Time, Wentworth, and Supergirl.
Yeah.
Which fandom was the Staircase in?
That was on Once Upon a Time.
Ooh. I don't think I've ever heard of the Staircase.
There it is. I mean, it's got
it's huge too.
Shit ton of hits. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think the fact it's got 74 chapters is why it's got 1.5 million hits. Because if you divide 74 into 1.5 million, you're really not talking that many.
I don't think it gets a new hit unless you reopen it like every time, does it? I don't
Yeah,
think
I
when
don't
you go
know.
from chapter.
Look, that's 1.5 million on fanfiction.net. I haven't even looked at the hits on AO3. So
Wow.
Yeah, when you go from chapter to chapter, it doesn't register a new hit. It's or a lot of times
Right.
it'll open it as a single chapter and it won't register a new hit. It's only if you come back. Are
anyway,
you saying
so
people
I'm
need to
actually
come back to read the whole
trying
thing?
not to. I'm actually trying to get people not to read The Staircase, and we've just talked about it for 5 minutes. And
Read
I'm like,
everything but that one.
Well,
yeah,
now you
so
know.
sorry, and I feel shame. But you know, we all start somewhere, and we all write
Yeah, we
stuff.
do.
And
Well,
like,
well,
oh
do you
God,
have
what
it
was I
tagged
thinking?
though?
I was going through some stuff, and I wanted to process the stuff, and that
See?
popped out, and you know,
But you've got it tagged appropriately, and that is one of the biggest keys to fan fiction is appropriate tags for the
Yes.
content.
Yes,
And I think that
exactly.
and I don't know about you guys, but one of my biggest pet peeves is if I'm reading a story and they don't tag something like
Girl
rape
penis.
or non-consensual sex or major character death, that they don't tag that, and then I read this fic and I'm like, I just want to throw my computer when I'm done, you know? And I think it's important to pay attention to the tags anytime you're reading fan fiction. So don't be cringy about it. Like, don't cringe. It's obviously something that's well liked.
Yes, well
But and some
received.
people,
Yeah.
if it's tagged, some people know like they'll skip a scene.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't be able to write something like that myself, but if I did, I know people that would want to skip the scene completely, and I would probably put like a scene break in with a warning that blah, you know.
well, this was controversial because you've basically got two beloved characters. One's accidentally, there was a misunderstanding raping the other. It was a total misunderstanding. That's why I say I'm cringing about it. And you can imagine people love this fandom, Swan Queen, and you got one raping, and you're like, what the hell? I'm just, you know, I got so much hate. I got threats. It was just hideous. But see, the whole point was that was the starting point. And my question I asked was, can you come back from that? Can you ever come back from that? And the whole thing is a journey of, and they dealt with a lot of shit. And at the very end of the book, they're finally a couple. But I mean, it took 73 chapters. But by the time people got to the end of 73 chapters, they liked it. But I'm telling you, these early days was just
it destroyed my feels.
So let me just throw this out there, Lee. One of my biggest things, if for me to really love a story, and the stories that I share, and I've said this like a million times. I used to post about it with TLR, and it's, you know, my biggest thing with a story for me to love it is it has to make me think, make me feel, or make me discuss. You know, and one thing that you have this ability to do as an author is to make people feel. And sometimes when you're writing something that's difficult, you know, or not just you, but other authors that have this talent, it's hard. It's angsty because you have dropped them into this vat of acid. But that is a, like this comment right here. The story just keeps getting better. The fact that you wrote a stunning trial scene that was the most intense part of the story speaks to your amazing talent. And I think that's, you know, when people talk about their feelings in these comments, I think that's a real testament to your true skill.
Yes,
that you
exactly.
can write such powerful emotions.
Yes, thank
and
you.
You're not just writing that, you are making the reader feel it. They are right there in the middle of it. And that is how you break people. But it's also how they will remember your book. They will remember you, that you have this ability to pull forth these emotions that you can't get in every other book. So many don't hit that mark.
I agree. Totally.
So take
in
this
fact,
pat on the back.
I just started listening to Hotel Queens, as a matter of fact.
Oh, okay. You got Angela Dorr up on you. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
I just started, and I probably I only listened to a couple of chapters, but I'm into it. I'm in it. I mean, it's gonna be my listen when I drive to work and stuff. So
okay,
definitely,
that's good.
Definitely.
So going back to the circling back to the fanfic topic, Lee and KD, you know, the fanfic formula, what makes a strong women loving women fandom fiction? What makes it popular? Is it, you know, and I've thought about it a lot. Like, is it a popular show, movie, comic book, or game?
It doesn't even have to be popular. It doesn't
but
even have to
it
be
can be
popular.
two leads, two strong leads, not related. That's a whole different kettle of worms. Connected in some way, best friends forever, enemies, partners, etc. Chemistry, on-screen chemistry, or on the page, or and then relevant. If the show is still running, or if it's recently ended, it's more likely to be a hot ship or fandom. There are tons of Xena fan fictions, but the show has been over for
20 years.
Yeah.
God, longer than that.
And so, there are still people that write stories in the fandom, but they're not going to get the clicks that a current popular show is going to get.
It's funny. I stopped writing Rizzoli Isles. How long has that show been off there? A couple of years, maybe?
I've never seen it.
I don't remember. I stopped watching it after, I think, season 2 or something like that. So it's been a while. But all my work is still up on AO3 and fanfiction.net. So I still get kudos. I still get feedback. 2016. Okay, so oh wow. I didn't know it was that long ago. So there's readers still discovering Rizzoli and Owl's fanfic, because I'll get feedback. Oh my God, I just found this. I just found this fandom and I read this story and there's so many emotions and you made me laugh. And, your Barry Frost was just like the show, or what he should have been on the show. I still get, that kind of feedback. I still get, like Lee was saying it earlier, that I have a story that I never finished. And I feel bad. It's been left unfinished for over 5 years. And I still get, emails from that. Oh my God, you have to finish this. What happens? You
posted the unfinished story?
Well, I didn't know at the time that I wasn't going to finish it.
Exactly. You don't know. You just posted it.
Yeah, it was just,
I'm one of those weirdos that I only ever published finished stuff. Like I write it and then I vomit it onto the internet. Like I've never done it. I know it is weird. I've never done it chapter by chapter, but I've seen a couple other fanfic authors that do the same thing, but they'll write like shorter stuff and I'll write shorter stuff, but I typically won't post like chapter by chapter. I did at first, before I started publishing, and these stories that I was writing, I was posting chapter by chapter. And then as I got a couple done, then I started just posting the whole thing all at once. But that's so annoying when you get into a good story and then you're like, well, they haven't updated it for like 2 years.
It's like, oh my God, I'm going to write them a note. Maybe by writing them a note, they're going to
love the story. When you're gonna finish, you're like, I don't remember writing that.
I know it's been 10 years since you've updated this, but I just read it again and I was just wondering if you're ever coming. And don't get me wrong, I've tried to go back to it and I've reread it and I was like, okay, I'm gonna reread it and see what happens. But that tank is empty. That tank is empty.
As an author, Lee, what is your biggest inspiration when you decide I want to write a fic? Is the characters? Is it just the nature of the show? Is it obvious chemistry between the actresses themselves?
It's always two things, and I actually think this is true for every fanfic writer. It's chemistry and attitude. So the chemistry is, you always see the women looking a little bit longer at the other women, and that always gets the lesbian bi women excited. When you've got the long raking looks, that always, even if they linger for a negative reason, women notice. Yes. And the attitude, if someone's got something else, like maybe they've got big boss attitude or alpha female, or they just know their stuff in a way, or there's just something about them that's got attitude. There's only 3 relationship types in fan fiction, right? There's like the Clash of the Titans, which is like the enemies to lovers thing, that they're kind of equals, and
like Regina
and Janeway and Seven and Kinney. So there's the Clash of the Titans. Then you've got, like, I suppose you'd call them the flirt bunnies. The friends to lovers, sweet, they're fluffy. Rizzoli and Isles, Grace and Frankie, Alex and Sam on Stargate. I don't know if anyone watched any of that.
Oh, I remember them. Yeah.
Then you got the alpha female and the adoring acolyte, which is like Super Cat. and Xena and Gabrielle, and that's usually the boss who's brilliant, and the Ice Queen, and Miranda and Andy and Devil Wears Prada, and they all have chemistry and attitude. But I did find the most amazing thing the other day, and I thought, I can't believe this. There's a fourth type that's never been seen before, and it's just appeared. And have you guys heard about Resident Evil Village with Lady Dimitrescu, I think her name is?
Yes, I haven't.
This enormously busted woman who's a giant Romanian noblewoman from the Resident Evil series of games. And she just somehow sparked the imagination of all these lesbians because she just struts into rooms, has this attitude. I haven't played the game. I guess she gets killed. She's just a villain, but she had so much attitude.
I've heard of. I've not played those games, but I've heard of her. Yeah,
but here's the thing, right? I thought, I wonder if people are writing fan fiction about her, right? And this is what I discovered: she might be the only fan fiction thing where the vast majority of fanfics about her are the character, Lady Dimitrescu, and the reader. It's a self-insert fandom. People are writing themselves into the story.
You bring that up, Lee, because it's one thing I do read a lot. I do read a lot of fan fiction. It's a good way for me to it's a good way for me to do a little bit of reading before bed and get the whole story in. You know what I mean? Because I have an obsessive reading personality where, I'm just going to do a little bit of reading before bed, and then I'm finishing the book at 2 a.m. And that's not good when you get up at 6:30. So fan fiction allows me to do a little bit of reading, legitimately a little bit of reading before bed, and I get the full culmination and climax. I get the whole story in one bite, and I don't have to stay up super late reading it. But one thing I have noticed reading fan fiction in the last probably 6-8 months, and I've been seeing it more and more, and I usually skip the stories because I've read a couple and they aren't for me, but where it's character and reader. But you're right. Yeah. I see a ton of character and reader stories.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah. And it's something I hadn't seen until this past year.
Yeah, but that is interesting in itself that trend is growing, but I have never seen a fandom where the number one, the vast majority of the stories written are self-insert, which is the character and you. I have never seen that being the number
that particular fandom.
Yeah, it's because she has. I gather all she does is walk around and say sarcastic lines to the guy who's the main character you're playing. Mocks him. I think he kills her kids, and then she dies or something. So the astonishing
Resident Evil. Yeah.
The character's name is Lady Dimitrescu. It's Romanian.
But I don't know how to pronounce it either. I have no idea.
This is astonishing to me that's the number one fandom for a thing, which is just self-insert, which means putting yourself in a story, which you're just wandering around and you meet this vampiric noblewoman and she has her way with you. And I mean, no pretext of pretending there's a big plot involved. It's just there you go.
And another thing, I don't know if it's still prevalent now, real people fix.
That was the original slash fic or something.
There she is. Yeah. There she is. Alicina Dimitrescu or whatever. Yeah, there she is right there.
Yeah, I think that might be her first name. Yeah, see, hey, it's got /reader and /u, so that's basically the same thing.
Wow. Yeah. But yeah. So I've read some of the real people's
fics. Look at that.
That's
537. The only thing more is Leon and Chris. But yeah, you're right. That's a huge number. That's the second high number of relationships is that person and the reader.
That's wild.
Phenomenal. That's just, but like I said, she really, I don't know what she did, but she's just got taunting and mocking and that fabulous attitude of confidence, which we love.
Yes.
You love it. And honestly, if they'd given her any female hidden scene in the game, I'm sure they'd all be shipping those two together, but they didn't. So people have just made do. They found a workaround.
There she is.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see it.
Is she a...
And the thing is, the voice actress and the face actress are now famous in their own right as a result of this role. It's
really
astonishing. Yeah, they've been doing fandom things on Twitter and all sorts. I mean, it's astonishing.
Is she a vampire then?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, well, her three girls certainly are. Can't remember if she is, like, as I said.
Resident Evil is a horror game. It's a survivor game. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's an example of breaking out of the three relationship types of the flirting and the enemies and the alpha female. She's just like solo plus fan.
Wow. I maybe that has something to do with COVID too. I wonder.
I don't know.
With everybody kind of being shut in, and I don't know. That's
No. She resonates. But anyway, all these women resonate because they've got that chemistry thing. And they've got that attitude.
I remember watching Once Upon a Time, the first couple of episodes. And,
Regina.
Oh, my God. And just the chemistry between them, just that hate vibe. I mean, it was just enough like, whoa, it was enough to make you, okay, there's something going on there. And, there you go. And a whole fandom was spawned, just by a couple of episodes.
Perfect example of the raking gaze that gets us girls noticing. The way Regina Mills, the mayor, would rake up and down all over.
Oh, my God.
The glowing bounty hunter, Emma, and say Miss Swan, and step 3 feet right inside a personal space. And I mean, what are we seeing here? What's going on? It's impossible to avoid.
It really was.
I wanted to add that show to watch, but it's not on anything right now that I can get. But it's kind of on my little mental watch list of things that I want to watch, because it seems like something that would be right up my alley.
The first couple of seasons are really good. It kind of falls off.
I heard it fell apart toward the end, but
it got kind of. I mean, they completely changed the characters. I think because there was such an uproar about Emma being kind of butchy, they completely changed the way she dressed. I mean, they were so obsessed with making sure they both had male companions, and it was just like, what are you doing? I mean, so they got kind of obsessed with that, and to me, it just bogged the whole show down. I was just to the point where I didn't want to watch it anymore.
No, I think the makers of the show remade Emma into the woman they'd like to bonk, and so why she suddenly, turned weird overnight.
Yes,
really weird.
But it's not just that show. We've seen this reinforcement of heteronormative narrative on other shows, and that was one of the things with the Supergirl. Because the writers kind of write it one way, but the showrunners are like, no, and then they take it another way. But you see a lot of scenes, and not just like that. You see it in Supergirl. You see it in a bunch of other shows where you're like, and it's the thing, like you said, it's that chemistry, it's the looks, it's some of the dialogue, it's some of the comparisons where you see another heterosexual relationship mirroring actions and sometimes even dialogue, and you're like, but this romantic couple does this and says this, and yet when this couple, two people, do this and say this, oh no, it just means they're good friends. And it's like, and
I don't look at my friend that way.
Yeah, right.
We don't talk about that kind of thing.
One of the biggest beefs about Supergirl is that they do all this stuff, and they throw all of these comparisons, and then you'll show a comparison where the same things are said and done. Hi, Finn.
Hello,
Finn. Are said
Finn.
and done between Superman and Lois, but yet when the exact same things are said and done between Kara Danvers and Lena Luthor, they're just friends. And then as a backlash to that, you had that season where all of a sudden they were like throwing Lena in a relationship and throwing
with
Kara in a
James?
relationship. And the biggest thing that people kept posting was this, and it cracked me up every time I saw it. It's like, oh no, she's looking too gay, better throw a bunch of and for those of you that can't see, it is a meme of a woman laying with her eyes shut and her mouth is open, and looks like an entire package or maybe a dozen hot dogs being thrown at her face and bouncing off. So
bag of dicks, in other words, bag of dicks.
Yeah. you know, we don't want the queers to get hope, so let's throw some
Yes,
penis in the mix.
let's do that.
And but you know, I think it's a big thing. Especially you don't see it in the video games. I think in the video games a lot of people want to see that queer representation, and you see a ton of like Mass Effect stories.
Oh God,
but
yes.
But the thing that you can't control in a video game, you can control every single look, every single nuance, every single word spoken. You cannot control all of that in a television show or a movie.
But you can in fanfic.
Yes, but you have the actresses themselves in TV shows, in movies. You have writers who will get stuff under the radar, but really it's the actresses who bring that alive, because even when you have an established relationship, if whether it's homosexual or heterosexual, if they don't have obvious chemistry, nobody's shipping it. It's like, nope, it's dead. But then you see something that's not even supposed to be alive, and you're like, they've got chemistry, you know.
And that's all it's needed. Yeah.
There's that you know, they consistently defend one another. They're in each other's face, and you can just see it. Or
I just want them to have hate sex.
So it's, you know, it's kind of funny. This actually reminds me, years ago, when I played roller derby, we used to do calendar shoots. And me and my captain at the time, Kirby Dog, she was amazing. She actually ended up becoming my derby wife, which is not like any kind of sexual or relationship type thing. You just have derby wives. I adored her husband and her son. Awesome. And Kirby and I, she was Kirby Dog. We both had swords. I had a full pirate costume that I like to wear like every year. So we did a photo shoot, and our photographer took us to a boat that they had. And it was like a speedboat, but it was red. Hard to explain. Anyway, we locked our wheels. We got up on our skates, and we're like crossed swords, and we're so intently staring at one another. And the image is coming from the side. And everybody looked at this picture afterward, and they're like, I can't tell if you want to kill each other or if you want to fuck each other. And that was exactly the look. It was that intent stare that you can't quite decipher, but it could go either way. And that's the kind of chemistry. And there was zero sexual chemistry between me and my captain, by the way. She was just awesome.
But
nothing sexual.
Yeah,
but the way that we were looking at each other, and that's the thing that, like, these actresses, you can't necessarily you can't control that as the director, as the producer, as the cameraman, as the writers. You can't always control what people are going to have
what
chemistry
seeps
like
out.
With each other. Right. And I think that's one of the things. And then there are certain actresses, like, no matter what movie I see them in or what television show I see them in, they could have chemistry with a stalk of celery, you know? And
what's her name? What's her name who plays Regina Lee? What's her name in real life?
Lana Maria.
She's
Lana
one of
Maria?
those people. Yeah, she's one of those people who can have chemistry with celery.
So Katie, what's her name, who plays Lena Luthor? She seems to have it too.
She does.
Yeah, Katie McGrath.
Yeah.
She has it. I've seen clips of her in other television shows, and I'm like, gosh, she's just like this all the time.
She's so intense.
She's delicious. Right. She's delicious all the time. It's always on. It's always on with her. And I think that's the problem, is they brought her in. And I don't know if in the beginning they intended to have her as like this foil, like you had Lex Luthor and Superman in that show, and brought in to be this foil with Lena Luthor and Supergirl. But it was obviously different from the beginning, because they had a very different meeting, and you could see that chemistry right from the very beginning. And then it's like, I think they played it up like, should they be friends? Are they going to be enemies? Is Lena going to be bad? And then you just started seeing all these hashtags trending where it said Lena is good on social media, because, you know, she's just, and I think you just have this, you people see right off the bat when they get this chemistry, and they run with it, especially if it's a good actress, it's a strong lead, you know,
I'm trying to think of shows that are out right now that have that. I mean, I watch Supergirl, but I watch it sparingly. I'm trying to think what's out right now that has that kind of chemistry between two female leads, and I can't really
You
think
mean
of anything.
who aren't in a couple on screen? You mean
Yeah,
who aren't in a couple?
I can't think of anybody.
Well, I mean, if you had, I don't know. What's the name of that show with the hacks? Have you watched that?
I did. It's a very good show. Okay.
I mean, that's. I mean, it's a really unusual because the age gap is enormous between the comedy writer and the.
But they have good chemistry.
They do have good chemistry.
Is that the show with the comedian?
Yes, it's very good. Yeah, it's very well acted. It's got a lot of drama. It's funny. You know,
it's just that the one girl is what 20 something and the other one's like 60 something.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
But they really vibe really well together.
Mm-hmm. So it's like they go from, enemies to they have this stalemate, and then
they have a connection. Yeah.
Yeah. Then they have
also, she has a sex dream about it, so we weren't going mad.
Yes, that was funny. I remember that.
Here's Dean and Castile is another big one that I see a ton. Castile.
Castile. I never saw that chemistry. I'm sorry.
But it's another very, very popular ship.
I know.
Like the Devil Wears Prada. It's one queen.
Steve Rogers.
The new one? I don't watch the show, but the new one with the Captain. It doesn't have Captain America, Winter Soldier.
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
they have really good chemistry.
Those two.
Yes, they had good chemistry, very much so. Yeah, but
Merlin,
I mean, there's. Oh, Clark and Bellamy.
Poe and Finn is another good example.
Yeah, I love those two together. I think they should have rocked on.
Absolutely.
I was definitely watching those trilogy of movies and thinking they should just kiss right now. They should just go ahead and kiss. But I can't think of any, just like to Emma and Regina. Oh my God. And look, just the way she's looking and the button. Look.
Is she looking down her shirt?
Yeah, is she? Is she?
She's trying not to look down her shirt.
Mm-hmm. So, but I can't think of. So we have Hacks, and I'm trying to think of what else is on TV right now. Because I can't think of anything. It'll probably come to me after we
probably,
and I'll be like, oh. But yeah, I mean, so there's just not a lot out right now.
So and one of the things to consider, and I'm on Quora. Quora is a good site. Like, people ask questions and sometimes you can go and get answers to stuff. But one of the questions that people ask, and I answer once in a while. I answer a question about something, but one of the questions I get asked a lot is, how do I write a popular fan fiction? And I think it's one of those things that you can't set out to write a popular fan fiction. You have to hit that sweet spot. You have to have, I think, to get those really popular fan fictions, you have to hit the popular fandom, something that's hot right now. You have to get a popular couple, one that has great chemistry, that has you have to tell a story that is going to draw people in and keep them reading, not too long, not too short.
You have to capitalize on that chemistry between those characters.
There are a lot of things, a lot of balls you have to juggle. And I don't think you can really set out. And sometimes you can write what you think is going to be that perfect mix of everything. And maybe the fandom, suddenly it's not hot anymore because maybe the show's now been off a couple of years. Or maybe it's moved on, or maybe one of the actresses even tanked herself socially by being, a twat. So, and maybe like it's not popular for that reason. Like, there are a lot of things that go into a popular fan fiction, and you have to be a good writer to start.
Yeah,
I mean, I read some stories I adored, but I'll either not follow along anymore if more is posted, or I just don't subscribe because, maybe English isn't their native language, and it's very hard to read because it's missing a lot of words, or it's disjointed, or it's not well written, or it's immaturely written. It's like, this had real potential, but the writing. So you have somebody that like Lee that comes along, who is an amazing writer, who hits a hot fandom and a hot couple in that hot fandom. And then they churn out these great stories. And those are ones that are going to be popular.
I mean, to me, as somebody who used to read quite a bit of fanfic, I mean, and I'm very, very picky, very, very selective about, what I spend my time on. So I had a habit of finding a author and reading everything.
No.
From that.
I've done that. If I read an author and I know that I've read a couple other things that I really liked by that author, I'll find them. I'll go through and blast through all of their stories. And then I'll also subscribe to their page, which sometimes burns me because then they'll start posting some obscure show or that I've never even heard of before. And I start getting all of those into my inbox. But yeah, there are just certain authors that I adore in the Supergirl fandom, and a couple authors that I adore even now. Like if they ever post something new in Xena fandom, I'll still read it.
I'm feeling nostalgic for Xena fanfic now. But anyway, so to me, I love the whole fanfic topic because there's just so much that you can tackle in it. And I've really enjoyed this discussion about it because I think it's relevant because it had to start somewhere, and it's still going strong. I mean, websites like AO3, which is a lot better than fanfiction.net. I mean, in my opinion, just because it's more user-friendly and it's
I'm
not
a contributor. I contribute every year to the Organization for Transformative Works. The sticker, and I have numerous other ones, are actually all from being a contributing member. I really like AO3. I've seen them, and they're constantly improving their site, which is really important, especially when it comes to really tailoring, because whatever you want to read, you can tailor that.
Yes.
When you, for those of you who aren't that familiar with AO3, and we've at GCLS, we've had a couple of the fan fiction panels. The one year actually kind of covered, how you wanted to do it. You can go to your fandom. You can pick your TV show. You can pick you can search TV shows.
You can pick your characters that you want to read about. I mean, you
can pick your characters, right? Let's see. I can go to Scooby-Doo, right? You can choose to include certain ratings, certain warnings, certain other fandoms. You can pick the characters you want to read about.
Yep.
You can pick the relationships that you want to read about. Do I want to read about Daphne and Fred?
No, let's do Daphne and Velma.
Or Daphne and Velma as a couple. There are 110 stories on AO3 where Daphne Blake and Velma Dinkley are a couple.
They had a lot of subtext. I'm telling you, it was a lot of subtext.
So, and you can tailor that, but it's not just what you can include. You can add tags. So if you want to read about witches, and you'll read a fan fiction story about Daphne and Velma as witches, if it exists, but you just write witches in as a tag. You can also exclude. So you can exclude explicit stories. You can exclude non-consensual, like rape, non-con. You can exclude those stories completely. You can exclude certain characters, certain relationships. Like if I'm reading Supergirl and I don't want to read any fics where Supergirl has a relationship with Mon-El, I can exclude those.
Good plan.
Excellent plan.
And you can include crossovers. You can set word count. So you're like, I only want to read short stories, or I only want to read long stories. And you can set the word count.
That. I didn't know all that.
And you can also set completion status. I only want to read completed stories. And then for like the year before last, I actually stopped reading fan fiction completely when I did this big writing push because I needed to get 2 books done. And so I know exactly when I stopped reading fan fiction. It was like, because before I always have the sites open. I always have the tab. Look here. Here's a tab that is always open on my browser. It is Supergirl. It's filtered exactly how I want it. It's set 7/5/2019. That was when I stopped reading fan fiction.
Oh, wow.
So, and I'd probably read most of it before that. So I don't want to, if I'm scrolling back.
So you won't want to miss anything. Yeah.
And I hit the back button. I know that I don't want to read anything that I know that I'd already covered. So yeah, this tab is always open on my browser. So is this tab, which is She-Ra. So is this tab, which is Katradora, Avatar, Legend of Korra. So those are actually pinned, and they're always open on my browser, on my home computer. And then I have the link. I have the link on my cell phone screen.
Oh my gosh, really?
It's
they need an app.
There. You know, they kind of have an app, but I don't think it's that great. It's it's called Fanfic Pocket Library.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
Well, it's not called AO3, and I don't think it's AO3 that created the app.
Oh,
but it brings up but it brings up AO3 stories. You're familiar with it, Lee?
Well, yes, I know about it, but I also recall someone asked AO3 why they don't have their own app, and they said we don't need to because our website is so well done for mobile platforms that it's just completely...
that's true.
It is. It's absolutely the only thing I would complain about on their website with the app on the phone is that when I'm reading, the words are tiny. You know what? I'm gonna stop share for a second. So when I'm reading, the words are very tiny on the screen. Unfortunately, if you pinch and drag, see, it cuts it off. Yeah. It doesn't make it larger, but keep your same space.
Well, that's why you download it to the ebook form.
Yeah, the only thing that FanfictionNet does better than AO3, in my opinion, is that they've got the text plus button, so you can keep punching that to get the letters bigger. But AO3 is brilliant, and as Katie says, you can just download it in a PDF and read it as a PDF.
I have sent so many stories to myself. I can't even begin to. I bet you can increase the text size on the.
You just have to play with it. I remember, but okay,
right.
So this is my personal file.
Oh my God, I'm sure it's huge.
These are all stories that I have downloaded and sent to my Kindle. And these aren't all the stories I've downloaded and sent to my Kindle. They're just ones that happen to have gone in my personal file. Sometimes I will download them. These are old. I have more, and I think they're on like 2 computers ago.
I've still got my favorites on my Kindle.
These are, and I used to sort them by like, what are my absolute favorites? I haven't done as many. Of course you did.
I'm sure it's very organized.
Or Legend of Korra. But yeah, I download, sometimes I'll just like, I'll see a story and it's a longer one. I'm scrolling on my phone. I'll download it to my phone, email it to my Kindle, and then let it download to my Kindle, and then I'll read that.
There you go.
Because if it's a long one, I don't want to squint at the tiny text.
Exactly.
Did I share that?
No, you did not. You just talked about it incessantly.
Oh, there we go. So this is my. These are all stories. These are all the Supergirl ones.
That is some of them. Huge. I'm not that organized in my fandom.
Are we ready, Katie? Are we ready
to move on to what the fuck? Yeah. We got some interesting stories for you, Lee.
Which ones would you like to start with? Maybe we should just do these 3. Which 3? Let's pick 3.
Redneck, Croc,
Redneck,
and the nurse.
Okay. All right. So let's start with the Redneck. People in America are crazy.
Yeah.
Like absolutely batshit crazy. I'm sure you know this already.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I know about Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Florida
Oh,
man.
yeah.
So
Florida man.
this redneck rave descends into throat slashing, impalements, and mass arrests.
Just a regular day. Just a regular day.
So it's just a normal day in Kentucky, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a country music festival in Kentucky, and right away you're like, so police found meth, marijuana, and an open bottle of alcohol in the very first vehicle they stopped at a traffic checkpoint. That's just one vehicle. One of the people in the car had 2 active warrants out for their arrest. So and they in the article it does mention that previous years they've had just as many issues, and so the police were like, well, this doesn't bode well for the rest of the weekend. Edmonson County Sheriff Shane Doyle told the Lexington Herald Leader. So police said that by the end of the 5-day bash, dubbed the Redneck Rave, 1 man had been impaled, 1 woman had been strangled to the point of unconsciousness, and 1 throat had been slit. In all, Edmonton authorities arrested 14 people and charged 4 dozen people from 5 states. So,
country rapper, that is an oxymoron.
Just in time. And so it's this event organized by this country rapper, Just in Time. It takes place in Blue Holler Off-Road Park and drew a crowd of tens of thousands, doubling the population of the unincorporated town of Ollie, which is so small it does not have a stoplight. Redneck Rave promoters bragged that they had sold more than 20,000 tickets. The lengthy get-down advertisement as the biggest country park you'll ever go to boasted a demolition derby, goldfish racing, and a full-scale football game, as well as a series of concerts.
Wow.
So
Redneck Rave. Oh my God, I didn't see the video and all that stuff. I didn't see all that.
I don't.
That's scary. Redneck Outdoor Adventures.
Yeah. It's
okay, I've had enough.
You don't want to listen to the fabulous sound?
Is that country rap? Country rap? Fix the sound, Kelly. You got it?
Yep. It's because I have to share the sound with the
video.
I know. So there were so many. The sheriff said that last year's Redneck Raves, they were too overwhelmed, his staff. He ordered all of his deputies to work mandatory overtime this year and requested assistance from the Kentucky State Police. At least 1 person died at an event last year. Another Redneck Rave is scheduled for October. So they do this more than once a year. He said there were so many intoxicated people. We just decided if dispatch sends an ambulance in, we're sending a deputy in with them. 6 of the festival goers faced felony charges, and the sheriff's office filed roughly 30 charges stemming from drug and alcohol violations. So it just seems like a gathering of truly swell people.
Yes.
Just top notch.
Yeah. Wow. Probably a lot of people with no teeth.
No, stop it.
Well, it says redneck.
I mean, it says redneck.
So, I mean, where do you want me to go with that? Country rapper?
Let's just Google redneck and pull up some images.
See?
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, we got our Confederate flags.
Beards, mullets, Confederate flags.
They like their flags, don't they?
They do. They love their stars and stripes. Oh, there's one with teeth.
Where? Teeth?
Go down a little bit. Go down. Up. Go up a little bit. I'm sorry. Keep going up. Keep going up. You still missed it. I don't know where it went now. But they had a guy with, there's a guy with teeth right there. There's a guy with no teeth, obviously. No teeth, or, a tooth issue. There's a guy with teeth issues right there.
All right, I can't look at that. Let's move on with that. Do you guys have that kind of stuff?
Well, we don't call them rednecks. Australia has something called a bogan, which is very similar. They're white trash. They're loud. They drink a lot. Their main thing is big beer guts and going roost shooting in their what you'd call a truck, with these big lights that will catch the roos and the and the things.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the rednecks here. You're
It's
just
a universal
shooting different
thing.
things.
They're in every country.
Drink
Every
your
country
beer,
has
drive
it.
your truck out, and shoot things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have better dental care though, so we don't have the tooth issue, and we don't have the nationalism with the flag either. But there's a little bit of that, but we do have a lot of let's go shoot a croc or shoot a roo kind of, and let's go drink
croc.
like three crates of beer, and yeah.
Now is a crate for you guys? What do you call a crate? Would that be like a case for us? Like just a collection of beer in one container?
Well, yeah, they just drink as much as they can. So,
Oh my God. What are you looking up now? Crate of beer.
Well, I don't
think that's a real thing.
Crate. It's not it's not an actual term. I just use it descriptively.
Do you guys have like cases of beer?
Yeah,
no, Kelly, it's only an American thing.
I'm just asking about terminology, Katie.
Terminology. Asking the person who doesn't drink at all. So I'm just trying to remember, but I think it's a case of beer.
Yeah, I think it's a universal thing.
Oh, wait a minute. The terminology is a slab of beer. Thank you. I just remembered.
Slab of beer.
Oh, like a slab of steak.
Yeah, slab of beer.
The reason I'm asking is because way back a long time ago, when I first realized that I liked women and I was trying to extricate myself from my relationship at the time, I kind of came out to myself. I moved out and I struck up this like pen pal relationship with a woman who lived in Australia with her wife, who was not her wife at the time. I think they only just got married here like a year ago, but this was like back in 2000. And what's funny is she was just publishing her first book at the time, and we were chatting about that, and she was giving me all this Australian terminology, like just learning things like what dog ghoulies are, and just these. She would use these sayings, and then I would have to like have her explain them in like the next email. And she was just a really just a sweetheart, and we still will exchange. We kind of lost touch for like a decade, and then we kind of like just got in touch again because she publishes with my publisher when I started publishing Regal Crest, and just like she had sent me her very first book that she published, I sent a book to her that was my very first book that I published. And I remember her saying that if you want to write, if even if you get stuck, if you have writer's block, she said, just sit down and write anything. And I still I still subscribe to that today, but it's just like the terminology. Like I learned a bunch of Australian terminology from her, just from being my pen pal. And that was like 21 years ago.
Wow. You're old.
Scusi?
I said, you're old.
You're older.
So, and your point is?
I don't want to be reminded of that. Anyway, all right. You know what? Let's go on to the next what the fuck news.
Oh.
Here we go. Our headline: nurse mailed
poop.
Yeah. Bloody feminine products to husband's ex-wife in Tennessee. Now, I could see like if you're like a mistress mailing to the current wife because you're just bitter and jealous and angry, but why the ex-wife?
Yeah,
I didn't get a chance to actually read this one ahead of time.
And what's up with nurses and doing stupid shit again?
I don't know. Like the nurse that thought she was magnetic, and the woman on
and
TikTok
tried to
was
prove
like,
it. Yeah.
You're not magnetic. You're just sticky. Go take a shower. Anyway, so 37-year-old nurse is accused of using the U.S. Postal Service to send poop and bloody sanitary napkin to her husband's ex-wife in Tennessee. Does it say why she was doing this? Well, because she was sending biohazardous materials.
Well, the thing that sticks out for me is that it was actually dog shit, and she got the blood from work.
Still, that's weird. It's still biohazard.
So yeah, then I'm like, why would you go to all that trouble? I mean, I guess she obviously poured the blood
on them. Show the kids the truth. She says down there, show the kids the truth about her husband's ex-wife. She is unhinged, people.
You think?
What truth? The truth that she's crazy?
I think that's what the truth was.
Wow.
Lazy didn't work, lived off the system.
Right.
This is maybe a custody thing. Maybe
How?
her kids are with
I don't think it
know.
says why she did it. I don't think it says why she did it.
Well, right. It says to show the kids the truth, but what
it doesn't
truth
explain what it is. It doesn't explain. She's just fucking nuts.
What truth are
maybe
they seeing?
The husband had kids with that ex-wife, and she's showing those kids something. I don't know.
But what? What does this show the kids?
It says she was mailing harassing letters.
Yeah, she's nuts.
Oh, the letter said, "You are poor white trash faking a fancy life." So that was the truth she was trying to show. I don't know.
And your mom is broke and lazy and won't pay her bills. But okay, if that's the truth,
she owed money.
If that's the truth that she's trying to share, how is mailing this woman biohazard going to share this truth? Like it would be one thing to like send a video or send receipts, but sending biohazards and disgusting things through the mail.
But you're asking a stalker to be logical, and she's clearly not.
She's got some issues.
Yeah, it was like, ooh. Let me go through all this trouble of picking up dog shit.
She clearly hates her.
Preparing it, to be sent. And
she
then
mailed another letter to the ex-wife's minor daughter, and
that's terrible.
Disguised as a party invitation. So she disguised it as a party invitation to get it through the mother, so that the daughter would open it.
Wow.
It does not say what the other letter said, though.
It's just that shit
crazy. That is what it said.
Yeah,
that shit crazy.
That's awful.
That is terrible.
Where did this occur? What city?
It's
Tennessee.
Tennessee. Yeah.
Sorry, Katie, but it's those fucking southern states.
Look, I'm going to add to that. I got a letter.
No.
Yeah, I guess because, and it's not funny because it's not because of COVID. This may be a good thing, a bad thing. It's a bad thing for Jehovah's Witnesses. But I got a letter in the mail from a Jehovah's Witness that said, we can't come out right now because of COVID, but we wanted you to know, that it was that whole spiel that they give you when they knock on your door, but in letter form. Yeah. And I was like,
I think we got the same letter.
I was like, holy shit. Because it was just this little envelope, and it was from Metairie, Louisiana. And I'm like, what is this? And I'm like, open it very gingerly. So I'm expecting white powder or something to fall out, So I opened it, and it was just a folded up letter. And it was just like, we're praying for you and hope we get to come by and see you soon. And I was like,
I hope you don't.
Please don't. I was just like, oh my God, the shit people send through the mail. I mean, I'm just like, what did they just go through a phone book or something? And just
I don't know.
I'm like, how the hell did you get my address? I mean, I know I'm somewhere, but still, why me?
Somewhere. All right. Are we ready to move on to
ready to move on.
What the fuck? And yes. I feel like all the people involved in these last two articles are going to be the target audience for the next item. Mm-hmm. Are you ready, Lee?
I'm ready.
All right. Do you wear Crocs, Lee? Because on Etsy, you can get yourself a pair of light up Croc nuts.
No.
Croc nuts,
$30.
lighted fit Croc style shoes are swinging glow in the dark to add your Croc style shoes with a back strap as shown in the photos. And
it's a bestseller.
Oh, and look, God. They blink. How many people had Croc nuts that were light up at that redneck rave?
Oh my God, he's shaking them too.
That would be the style.
You see, it says bestseller just above the price. It says bestseller.
That is disturbing.
Nice. So what's funny, Katie? So I saw a picture. I saw this picture online, posted on Twitter earlier, and I was laughing about it. And I'm like, wait a minute. I bet this is a real thing on Etsy because it's had the Etsy logo in the snip. So I went to Etsy and I searched for Croc nuts. And there are a lot.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Hey, there's even a little peen that plugs into the hole. There are a
Wow.
lot of there's Croc
What
spurs.
is the world coming to?
I don't know, but you can
God damn it.
decorate your Crocs with spurs.
There's one with just a shaft right there.
Dangly balls. Where? Oh, there's
Right there.
flames.
There's
Oh,
one
this
with
one?
the yeah.
What's the purpose of that?
I
Why
don't-
must you
that's-
gender your Crocs?
That's
It's
just an
supposed to
FU to
be-
the person following them, isn't it? Someone's walking down the street behind you. It's an FU to them.
It's gotta be. Oh, those are saggy balls right there.
Those
Yeah.
are real saggy balls. Those are the
Oh my
kind that
God.
blink in the toilet. And yet there's one in here that is like daisies and pearls for your Crocs, like charms. But then amidst all that, you have nuts, penises, and spurs.
Where's the vaginas?
Okay. This
Or the
is
tits?
this is interesting. This is cute. It's like little dragon that looks like it's swimming in your Crocs, and it just snaps into the little Croc holes.
Okay,
I've never
yeah.
owned Crocs, nor have I ever like put any on.
They're supposed to be super comfortable.
There is a things that go onto the back of your Crocs, like a little license plate, and on one Croc it says taco, and on the other Croc it says slut. So if you are a massive taco slut, you could do that. Oh, look, you can get some AK-47s for your Crocs, and that's disgusting.
Don't
Oh my
look
God.
at no.
Oh
No,
my
no,
God.
And I'm just going to scroll. Sorry for anybody that's listening.
Yeah,
but-
move on.
Oh, one of the items was like real. They're not
Don't.
even realistic looking, but they have like real hair on them, and that's gross.
Hairy balls. Yes.
Hairy
Oh.
balls. Maybe they're dog ghoulies.
Is that a light switch with
Where?
a light switch cover? Go back up. Go back down on me. Go back down.
Make up your mind. This?
Go
It's
no.
It's
Go.
no.
There it is right
right
there.
here. It is
Yes.
okay. Balls, nuts, testicle, light switch cover. It looks like maybe a 3D printed light switch cover that looks like a pair of saggy nuts at the bottom, and it's got the holes milled out for the switch and the two screws that hold it on. And that is
That
really
is
disturbing.
insane.
And why would you
And
buy?
it's got almost 5 stars.
Oh my God. Oh my God, Katie.
A Jesus dildo.
Buy together and get free shipping. So if you buy the balls, nuts, testicle, light switch cover and the Jesus dildo, you can get free shipping. And
Oh, we have to see that Jesus dildo. You gotta get a I don't even know what to say about
is this
that.
a Catholic thing?
Oh my
The
God.
body of Christ is in you.
Yeah, something about loving yourself, being closer to God.
I mean, you can't get much closer.
Oh my God. And look, his arms are, it comes in different colors.
You're not even getting with Jesus who's in a good mood. He's being crucified. You are
So are you.
having
So
sex
are
with
you.
a crucified
No.
dude.
Different kind of impaling, Katie.
Oh my, well, that's
I'm like,
well,
What do you have when he was
and it
just,
has veins and everything in it.
It is so disturbing.
so funny, they always give Jesus abs. Really good abs.
Hold on, ladies.
Oh,
I have
he
to
does have
turn.
good abs.
I have to turn my air on. I'm burning up. I'll be right back. Carry on.
Okay.
Carry on.
So this is how on shooting the shit we fall down the rabbit hole, because crock nuts leads to testicle light switch cover, which leads to the Jesus dildo. And I just,
you know, when they say, what would Jesus do? I don't think it's that.
yeah, I don't think it's that. I don't think it would be, I don't think the answer is you under the right circumstances when you're alone. It's more like, what would Jesus
Not
do?
that.
He says, I
Right, not
fucking
that.
love this.
Oh,
Beautiful,
wait,
exactly as pictured.
That's really tiny. Wait a
7
minute.
inches? It
Wait a
looks
minute.
bigger than that.
It says 7 inches, but unless they have a giant meat hand, that is not.
Oh, that's not
teeny.
that
That's
big.
like a little 3-inch.
Maybe it's 7 inches altogether. That doesn't look like.
Oh,
yeah.
maybe, because that can't be more than 3 or 4 inches. I had an ex
that's
like that
too
once.
bad.
It was unfortunate.
Yeah. Oh Oh God.
Anyway, it all just goes downhill from here.
Oh my God. I didn't know there was a part of Etsy that looked like this.
Well, now you know.
Me either.
You know.
The education.
I'm traumatized. I don't even know what to say.
The last thing I bought on Etsy was actually the last thing I bought on Etsy, I don't even know how to.
I bought ghost pepper caramel corn.
Oh,
which was very tasty.
How do I log in?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, it's stupid. Anyway, the last thing I bought was actually this like octopus. It's I don't really know. I don't know how to explain it. It's on the wall when I redid my bathroom as like steampunk. It's on my wall in there. So I suspect it was a different email address.
But what is this from Florida Man? Of course, we have a Florida Man one to round it off.
The Florida Man what?
I'm looking at your headline here, Florida Man.
Oh, that's right. This Florida man caught feeding wild alligator resists arrest, and he kept stating that the alligator was a good boy. He was a good boy, and that he loved bagels.
You mean bagels?
Bagels. He loved bagels.
He just sits there and he loves bagels. He's such a good friend. Oh, the poor lonely guy.
There we go. That's what I purchased. I don't know if you can see it, but
resin
it's a 3D
octopus.
resin octopus. Yep.
Oh, that's cute.
And then dispensers for the bathroom, or dispenser labels that look antique-y, sort of. Okay. Anyway, but yeah.
Okay.
Wow. All right. Well, now you've learned a lot about American rednecks.
And we have to round it out, with Florida Man.
With a Florida Man.
I don't think we can top the Itsy nuts thing. I'm just.
I don't think we can.
That's the end all of what the fucks right there. I have to say.
I think.
Yeah, no, get it off.
All right,
there's
let's
just
go
so
away.
many.
Let's go away with the Etsy nuts. Oh wait, I never finished writing Lee's fandoms. We had Devil Wears Prada.
Once upon a time.
Yeah. Supergirl and Wentworth.
Is that spelled right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So yes, oh my gosh, this has been an eventful episode, I have to say.
I'll say.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry, Lee. The only thing Lee learned from all of this is that we are nerds, and she's never going to Kentucky or Tennessee or Florida.
Yes.
Well, I already knew about Florida. I came pre-warned on Florida.
Well, now you know about the rest of, the other blights, on the American society.
That's okay. So Australia has Darwin, and it's pretty much up there. It's the tropical.
I mean, we do frequently say that people are winning like the Darwin Award here. I don't know about you, Katie, but anytime you see somebody doing something really stupid, you're like, they're a prime candidate for the Darwin Award.
Yes, I lived in Rednecksville myself, so it's always fun. So I haven't seen anything to that degree, thank God. But but anyway. Like I said, it's been an eventful episode, and thank you, Lee, so much for joining us. Everybody, it is early in the morning where she is. So thank you so much for, rolling out of bed and joining our little, our little chat here. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I think
thanks for having me.
12 hours ahead of me, Lee. 13.
Yeah,
it's about, Katie.
Yeah. It's early there, so definitely.
It's tomorrow. I'm in your future. I'm just saying.
I know. It's very odd. It's just like, it'll be June 30th, 7:30 where I am. Like, what the fuck?
Lee is calling from the future.
It's like I can't wrap my head around it. But Thanks for joining us. Like I said, we appreciate it. It's been a great show. Love to have you back someday over some subject. I'm sure we'll find something of interest, somewhere down the road. Good luck with the book. Like I said, I read that one too. It was funny. It was cute. It was very sweet. Highly unlike
That's the one
you.
with the cat, right? With the
it was
cat
a bit fluffy because there's animals.
It was. I liked it though. It was cute. I was like, it was very unsuspecting from you.
Yeah,
so,
I know. I understand.
Yeah.
Katie was the sensitivity reader for The Awkward Truth, in case you're wondering what that's about.
Yes, I got to read that one too. And Lee is actually gonna read my new book whenever I get finished with it, as a favor. As we do some reciprocation.
That's the one that you teased me with like,
yes.
Oh, try this, and then you stopped writing it for a while. That one.
Yes, that one.
Yeah, that one should be good too.
I'm back and my I intend to be done with it in the next couple of months and be ready for to be sent off to the publisher and hopefully before the end of the year. So that's my aim anyway.
You had me at office romance, so I'm there for that.
It's going to be a different take on it. It's going to be, I have to add my own twist to things. So I think it'll be a little bit different. But thank you.
No problem.
Yes, I thank you so much, Lee. I'm glad I got a chance to speak with you. There's so many times that we don't get to connect with people, and you're one of the people I have never connected with in any way. So it's always nice kind of putting a voice with a name or with reputation, I guess. And of course, Katie and I both love talking about fan fiction with somebody and just getting that passion of something that we both love. So
yeah.
Well, I certainly do love my fan fiction, so it was a very good topic. Thank you very much for having me.
All right, Katie. Well, again, we came.
We talked.
We conquered.
And now we got to go. Thank you, everybody. Good night.